Hey there, it's Joseph, and welcome back to the YouTube channel dedicated to San Miguel de Allende secrets. And today we're going to talk about how nothing is sacred and the stolen art that's coming out of our area. As always, if you need additional information, in the descriptive box below are links to various websites, including some out to Amazon.com, that have all the best-selling books in the San Miguel de Allende Secrets book series for sale. Being the largest city in the Americas for a bit in the 1700s and a center for education and religion in New Spain, San Miguel de Allende has an abundance of colonial-era religious art. Do you know who has a keen interest in antiques, religious, Mexican art? Art collectors and art thieves. A particularly bad year for local religious art was 1957, when pieces stolen from the Santa Escuela church were from the 17th and 18th century. Then the Stations of the Cross were taken from the Oratorio, Christ's image from the Temple of San Francisco, and the Virgin of Carmel from the Third Order Church. Sacred art continues to be stolen from local churches even during the Mass itself. One priest explained to me how he saw lads carrying out paintings but assumed arrangements had been made for repairs and restorations. They hadn't. Sometimes stealing in plain sight is the best disguise. One of the favorite religious art forms to leave the country are retablos. Retablos are license plate-sized art depicting a miracle, the saint or virgin who aided in the miracle, and a short description of the miracle. Frida Kahlo herself encouraged collectors to immerse their collections with retablos back in the 1950s. The popularity of retablos made Italy's return of nearly 600 retablos from the 17th to 20th century 2 years ago a major cultural win for Mexican art history. The works of art were illegally sold on the black market and taken to Italy back in the 1970s. A sharp-eyed docent in the Milan Art Museum realized the retablos donated by a wealthy collector didn't appear to be Italian. They weren't. Of the tens of thousands of religious paintings, sculptures, and other artifacts that have gone missing, only a handful have been recovered. Churches rarely ever have guards to protect against robbery. Plus, Mexico has more than 60,000 churches, and most of them are in very little towns, making it difficult to protect what's inside of them. Mexico leads the world in the theft of sacred art, according to the International Art Loss Register, the National Anthropology and History Institute, and the Attorney General's Office. Most stolen art and artifacts end up in a different country, normally the United States. It's not uncommon to find that art collectors are laundering their funds from an unrelated illegal activity through buying art. In fact, Mexico leads the world in theft of sacred art. Now, I don't mean to imply that all religious art outside the country or a church is stolen. Priests themselves often sell retablos if the altar space is getting crowded, with retablos for appreciation of past miracles. Also, a Catholic church can be decommissioned by consecration, or the act of removing the sacred blessing to the building that was previously consecrated contents. Here in Mexico, if masses are no longer being said in a church or chapel, the church responsible for maintaining the interior is disinterested. The government that maintains the facade isn't going to keep the building repaired, and the building falls into ruin. Or perhaps is repurposed as a storage shed, pool house, or destination wedding site by the folks that own the land the building is on. By then, the interior art has long ago been removed and sold off. Also, the church's priest can decide what art he wants featured, and they'll tend to lean towards the images of saints, virgins, and God, partial to them. That's why when priests change churches, the church's art is switched around, with some items put in storage and others released for public view. San Miguel de Allende's religious art is constantly changing in terms of style, content, and location, often traveling the world. Feel free to click the subscribe button below and you'll get notifications all month long